Hello. 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 There we go. We got audio now. Sorry about that. What's wrong with my frame? Okay. I can't change that, can I? Output. Audio, video. Yeah, I can't do it while I'm doing that. Okay. It is what it is for now. Might be a little jumpy, but I'm not going to shut it up again. Let's see how it looks. Alright. First, I want to start. Today's the 11th of July. And as you know, if you go to my website, right here, click on that. Takes you to Schumann frequency. That way you don't have to memorize the Russian address. Hit translate. And this is suspicious to me. Because I've never seen this go for so many days with no activity. I think they turned it off. As you can see here for... What the hell is that date? I think that's showing the 12th. So right now we're at midnight UTC, I believe, which puts us right here. Which is whatever Russian time that is. So this should be around switching over to the next date. That's why you see this date's blink. However, last 3 days on top of this, this is 1 day, 2 days. Normally there's a third day here already recorded. This line right here on top, that flat line there, is about where you're supposed to be normally. That's just under 8 hertz. See the scale: 4, 8, 12, 16, 23. Okay, so we're right in here. That's where your body wants to be. That's where harmony is with your cells and all that stuff, whatever. You could see a little blip there, little blip there, exactly 24 hours apart. See the date, go over 24 hours, boom. Now it's getting a little quicker. So if it's not off, then we're starting to get little blips. However, if you go down here to critical frequencies, I already have it up. Go over here. This was turned off on June 29th. It's not been turned back on. And whenever they turn off data, there's a reason. You'll never know the reason unless it's something huge that slaps us all in the head one day, which I wouldn't doubt anymore, the way they've been messing with all these things, and I'll show you some more in a minute. NASA's turned everything off. NOAA, NASA, government, powers that be, powers that shouldn't be, whatever you want to call them. There's a few idiots like me that throw these wrenches in this shit because we're not paid for like a scientist is, where he needs his salary is based on giving the correct end result, just like in so many other businesses. But if you look here, there's missing data when it was happening as they were recording it. You can see at the time they turned this off, we were getting pretty quick waves. Usually it's every 24 hours, like a heartbeat. That's normal. But here, something was causing, this is the critical frequency. This is like the amps. I've described this before. This is how much current is going through like the sound or the energy. So it's like amperage. The other, this is the frequencies. Where'd they go? Right here. So this shows you like the 110 volt or 220 volt, depending what your electric is. Let's say you compare it to electric. That shows you, okay, you're running 110 volt. And then you'll see these big, crazy spikes that have been happening there lately. You'll see it on my site or other videos I've done. When you this is showing you how much power is in that punch. And you can see here, the top is at 6,000. It looks like it went way off the scale there. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe it's attaching here. But either way, we have a pattern. Spike to the very limit. Down. Data disappears. Why? I don't know. Spike. Data disappears. Spike. Data's turned off. So something was happening faster and faster. So the cycle was going faster than every 24 hours. Who knows what that means? I'm not a scientist. But I can see shit and smell shit and taste shit. I don't have to be a scientist to know that. Okay, so I have a gut feeling this is turned off too. Because I've never, in 3 years of watching this, 2, 3 years, I've never seen this go so many days so quiet. So, like that song, Makes You Go Huh, or whatever the hell it was called back in the old days, for you old people out there. Anyways, you don't have to know shit. Look at this. If you see anything weird, cool. If not, move on, dude. Just go do something else. Look at your cell phone. Text somebody. Text and drive. That's really what you should do. I was on the highway last week. This is probably more important than all this shit. And before we got on the highway, this idiot sitting at the light turns green, probably at least a minute. He's got his head down in his lap, texting away, or on Facebook or wherever the hell he's on. I didn't get out of the car to find out. And then he gets going, and this guy is swerving. He's taking up like 1.5 lanes, just his normal straight line. But then he's got cars having to swerve out of the way because he's so busy texting or on the internet or whatever the fuck he's doing on his phone while driving a 4,000-pound vehicle without looking at the road. I don't know how you can do that, but I guess some people can drive now not only with no hands, but without looking. So that's pretty cool talent. But it's going to go bad. So whoever's doing that, wake the fuck up. And I apologize for swearing, but you're talking about killing people, man. That car can kill somebody. With 10 miles an hour, you can kill somebody, let alone 50, 60, 80, 75, the new speed limits out here. Why, whose idea that was, I have no idea. Let's put the speed limit to 100 and then give them text phones and cell phones and Facebook at 100 miles an hour. Great idea. Great idea. Okay. Back to science instead of just stupid people. I can see why they're taking cars away. They're gonna make it where you can't drive. It'll be so expensive to license it that you're gonna have to do Uber or some service that won't have a driver. It'll be all automated. It's coming. So, and at this point, I think I'd rather take a chance with some radar on a car trying to miss people than some idiot driving and playing in Facebook land or whatever the hell he's doing or whatever. But very dangerous. They'll have to pass some more laws and fix that. Okay. So this, I think, is off because it's not acting normal, even though it's showing normal, which is not the new normal, if that makes sense. And this was turned off on June 29th. No disputing that. Okay. Now, you can see that from my site. And I don't care about my site, except I had so many people always asking me how to get to these different charts. And I ask them why, because they're never going to look at them again. But if you ever have the inkling to find Schumann frequency, you can just go to me, Wags Chicago, and click this red button. I have it at the very top. You don't have to look at any other part of my site except this. Click that button, and you will get the live current view. Hit translate unless you can speak Russian. And there it is. There's other things you could look through here, but I'm not going to show you that. So, something is amiss. And there's my site. I don't want to go there. We'll go here. Okay. So, I hope I didn't kill my feed. Hang on, I gotta look. Alright, it's still on. Alright, I gotta turn my picture off. Even though I'm so cute. And I like to look at myself. But this isn't for me. This is for my family. Anybody's asking why I'm doing all these videos. It's for later. Because my opinion doesn't mean shit except to my family. Okay. So, back to this. I'm just documenting this. I'm not saying anything. I don't know nothing. I just smell shit. Yesterday I smelled shit outside. Was going to do a video on the sulfur, but people are getting sick of that, so I didn't even show it. But you could smell it last night. Anyways, and it's not the garbage dump. Shut the hell up. I'm not that fucking stupid. Okay. If I can understand these charts, I know when garbage dumps smell versus sulfur that's coming from the ground. Okay. Or wherever it's coming from, I could smell it. All right. I'm going to turn my pretty face off because I want you to get a good look at these charts. You don't have to know shit, okay? But I'm going to tell you anyways. This here is called the Discovery Satellite. You could believe in satellites. You could believe in flat Earth, round Earth, square Earth, purple Earth, blue Earth, red Earth. I don't give a shit what you believe in. This is the information we have, and it's all we can go by. It don't matter what I think of any of those other things. So I have to go by this data. There's nothing I can do. So if I do, I can start correlating things that happen. So I kind of have to swing to this information. Now, I'm not able to do trigonometry and all that shit, but I don't need to. I could look at a chart just like you could look at your heart rate on a monitor, and you can see if it's messed up. You don't have to be a doctor. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be the idiot who made the machine. But if you see a pattern like this on your heart, you'd probably say, oh, shit, I better take a closer look. Or maybe ask somebody who knows how to read it. Okay? That's all I'm doing. I'm showing you information. You figure it out from there. Now, this satellite is an early warning beacon. It's kind of like those things in the ocean where they put the wave. Okay, so if there's a tsunami coming, these alarms go off because the buoys go up and down, and an alarm goes off. Well, this is NASA's alarm. Supposedly to save the people in the space station to go into their shelter if there's ever radiation coming. Okay, that's why they put these out there. That's one of the reasons. It's an early warning system. This is called Discover, DSCOVR satellite. What do you see wrong with this picture? Well, I'll tell you. This is 12 o'clock UTC, which was 6 hours ago? About 6 hours ago now. 6 or 8 hours ago, depending where you live. Something happened here, okay? This is, I think, 10 minutes out, half hour out. It's a couple million miles away, whatever. You could look it up. I forgot how many minute alert it is, but it's out between us and the sun, okay? This satellite. Actually, I'll show you in a minute. I can show you exactly where it's at in a minute. But forget that. It's between Earth, the sun, early warning sensor is what it is. So, we're sitting here on the 9th, and I can go further back. You can change the dates here. Okay, July 11th, you can go back. I'm going back 3 days. Let's go back a week just to show you how this works. And stay with me because you're going to want, even though it's a little boring, you're going to want to see this because something just happened. What happened? I don't know, but you should care because a hell of a lot of energy just hit the Earth a few hours ago, and it wasn't from the sun. There's your clue. Now, if you look at the news a few days ago, they just discovered a big orange light somewhere in deep space, unknown origin, brightest light ever seen before, whatever. This happened before, 2004 it happened. A piece of the atmosphere got ripped off once that energy passed by, and it missed us by a couple million miles. I think between like here and Venus is about how close it was. And it still ripped a little section off, okay? That's coincidentally when they started heavily spraying the skies in the direction of the sunset. Believe it or not, I don't give a shit. That is proof, or not proof, that's a fact. Go back to 2004, go back to old pictures you got in your box at home, and start looking at your old sky pictures. There used to be fluffy clouds, no lines, just clouds. Now, there's 6 new clouds, I believe, that are being taught to your children in kindergarten on up, okay? Brand new clouds that have just magically started happening. Or less, since 2004, roughly? Okay. You can look it up. There was a big blast. There was either a black hole that combined somewhere in deep space, or they think it was a supernova. Maybe 2 of them that hit each other or some shit. Anyways, they call it, I think it's the 5 waves of energy, the 4 waves of energy. That's another podcast. I've already done it on it. I'm not going to do it again. Nobody believes it. I don't care. But here, a week ago, we had a little activity. Okay? We went up to, 25. Now, here's where they're messing with us. They're changing all the scales. If you don't get nothing out of my video, when you start looking at any scale on a map, which shows the scale, red is usually danger or hot or whatever. So usually on the high end of things, higher numbers. Blues and dark purples are usually cold, normally. They're flipping that. And I'll show you, they're flipping it in real time to adjust the way the scale looks. For example, on this, if you didn't want people to see this go from 5, 2.4, right here, if you made 600% return on your $100 bill today, you'd be happy. If that's energy coming from deep space, you're not so happy, especially if you're living in the space station. So, or you run a bunch of satellites, and they have to put them in protection mode because they're about to get zapped by a bunch of radiation, okay? High energy. Okay, that's as far as we'll go on that lesson, as far as why this is important. So you have a 600% increase. Then drops back down at about 4 or 5, and then look at this. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Something is waves and waves, waves, waves coming at us, just like we saw about a week ago. So, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about 4 days of quiet since the last little bumpy road here. And then kaboom, 6 hours ago, we got smacked in the ass, the Earth. Okay? I'm going to try and put it in the language so you understand, instead of making fun of this shit. This isn't funny. And again, you don't have to be a PhD to study something, number 1. Number 2, to even notice that something's wrong. And number 3, most important, is they're deleting data and turning data off. That's where my alarms go off. Yeah, I don't know what the hell this shit means. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means something. A 600% increase in anything means something. Okay? So, when you see a 600% increase, and let's say later today, which has happened on this chart alone, you go here and it's blacked out, or it'll show July of 2004. Think that's funny? Wait a minute, and I'll show you how funny it is. Okay, so if you just quickly glance, let's say you're a geek like I am, and you like looking at all this stupid data, and you wish you would have been a scientist instead of some other career you took, but you were too stupid in high school to do that, or didn't know what you even liked this shit, because nobody thought it was fun back then, okay? But now you like it, so now you study it, and now you try to tell people, hey, something a little funky's going on. That's all I'm doing. I'm documenting this because once they erase all this shit and then they will put up new data, or, like I'm going to show you in a minute, they'll change the date. And if you're not paying attention, if you just check this every day, it's part of your religion. Science is a religion. You get up, you check it, it looks normal, blah, blah, blah. But you don't look at the fine print, just like we don't look at fine print on nothing anymore. Your television's recording you having sex in your bedroom. It's they're selling it to who knows what, and who's watching you from out in the street and their patrol cars and all that stuff. Okay, that's fine. Nobody has a problem with that. But when you try to show them something like this, then they have a problem. Or you walk into some place because you're making a video in public, and they're like, "Oh, you can't record here." Well, you're being recorded all the time, dude. Relax. What are you worried about my camera on my stupid channel? People, man. Okay, so something slapped the Earth's ass a few hours ago, okay? Look at this. Now, let's try and match these times up, okay? That's the first thing I do. Around, what time was it? Let's go back to, let's just do one day. Make this a little easier to read. Now, watch, the scale's going to change. That's the other reason I wanted to. Hopefully, it'll change the scale. Okay, now it's just July 11th. See here? 30 now is the high. 0 is the low. What was it before? This is important if it changes. Hang on. Okay, it went to 35. See how they changed the scale? Okay, now that's normal for this because we went to 1 day versus 3, and it also depends on what the range was. So if I do the last 3 days, the scale will top out probably still 35. This is important, even though it doesn't seem like it. When you change these scales right here, watch, the number's going to change. It didn't here. I told you it wouldn't because it was still 35 as a high. If this thing had peaked at, let's say, 50, this number then would be 50 right here, and then these would get smaller. So then these spikes would be actually smaller, okay? Or they could shrink it down, make 50 down here, 50 to 0, let's say, in half the space. So then this spike would be half the height. It would only go to here. So then you would glance and say, oh, just a little spike, but you're not looking. Oh, wait, 50 is now the new high, not 35. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? This is important. When you're doing a map, you want to see how many miles or kilometers or the distance between 1 inch. You could look at the legend. That's what we're talking about. Look at the legend and watch how they're changing it. Or they're inverting it, okay? Why? Because there's a handful of idiots, me included, that watch this shit. And then they make stupid videos. And then maybe somebody catches on and says, whoa, what's going on? And then you ask questions, and that's what they don't want. So, incoming 6-7 hours ago, kaboom, something comes in. Probably right around here is when it's less than an hour. So, on its way down, okay, this is where it's going to be important. I'll show you exactly when it hit the Earth. Well, I can't because they actually blocked it. Watch. Now, that's 1200, right? Right here, give or take an hour. So let's say between 1100 and 1300 UTC. That's what time this is. What do we got here? We are at almost 2 o'clock UTC, 0200, on the 11th. This is the 11th at 2230, which would take you over here. That is the end point. So let's back this up. Oh, it only goes to 124. Okay, so we want to match this time. You should be able to do that. July 11th, 2230. July 11th. Let's go down Let's get close to the time. Actually, I think I already did it. Hang on. 22. Yeah. No. I don't want to show you the all right, let's just show you. Let's watch. This is going from 1 in the morning, UTC. So this would be about 24 hours ago. Give or take 2 hours. Okay? Look at these heavy concentration right here. There's this circle. This is new. I did this in a video about 2-3 weeks ago. Now there's a second one. So first, let me tell you what's going on here. Picture to the right over here is the sun. Big sun. The old days, it used to be yellow or orange, depending on what your eyes look, perceive shit. Now it's bright white. So actually, this is the sun, this bright white space. Okay, that's aiming at this little circle, the Earth. See, half of it's white. That half is facing the sun. So it's lit up. The other half is dark, like the dark side of the moon, dark side of the Earth. Same thing, okay? This blue area is behind the Earth, heading out towards Jupiter. Actually, all the planets now are going to be behind the Earth, starting in like 4 or 5 days. And it's going to be that way for a couple months. That's only happened 6 times in the last 120 years. Twice around World War II, once around World War I, I think 1980, and somewhere in the 90s was the last time. So you're living through kind of like history right now. So if you're alive right now, I don't know if you are or not, but if you are, you're living through history. All the planets are on this side of the Earth. The sun's over on this side, nothing between the sun and the Earth. Now think about that for a minute. If all the planets are on the left side behind the Earth, let's say behind the Earth, nothing on the side towards the sun, do you think there's going to be any strain on the Earth? Maybe. You don't have to be a scientist now. Let's try a thing. They used to call it, my grandfather used to call this common sense. Yeah, common sense. So just try for a second. Try to think. All the planets are behind the Earth, or they will be in the next few days. There's only 2 stragglers left. So everything is behind the Earth in our little solar system. The sun is to the right of this picture. So the sun's tugging that way, but the sun's also not active anymore. We're in this, what they're calling a grand solar minimum. However, this minimum is a lot lower than the last minimum, normal minimum. We're trending down is what I'm trying to say. So even the highs were low. So whatever. So the sun is inactive. You got a new North Pole and South Pole on the sun that are almost always tore open, meaning there's energy just leaking right out. Form. The corona then clears, and it's like a clear day in that section of the sun. What happens then is the high-energy particles that normally take sometimes 1,000 years to come from the center of the sun out are just pouring out, like turning the faucet on. Water just pours out. There's no little screen there to slow it down. Okay? That's what's been happening to the sun, and I can show you that in a minute. So, new North Pole constant opening. Never used to be that way in our lifetime. You would see it come and go, but now it's like permanent. There's a permanent North Pole hole, and a South Pole hole is forming as well. And around the equator of the sun, you usually have another hole. Sometimes a third of the sun is open, sometimes even half, okay, on the bad days. What that means to you is more energy from the sun is coming towards Earth. That's where this picture comes in. Sorry it took so long to explain this, but you have to know why this is so red here. So the sun is sending energy this way. It creates a bow, like a bow and arrow thingy. You shoot trees with or whatever. That bow forms. This is your magnetic field or magnetosphere. Okay, so the energy from the sun hits this shield. This is what protects us from being cooked, okay? This is why Mars is all cooked. They don't have this shield anymore. It looks like they had one not that long ago. So, energy hits, it deflects around, as you can see here. The majority On this scale, plus 1.25 in its cube. Okay, if you want to figure that out, be my guest. 0 is green, and in this case, purple is -1 on this chart. So, this hole that we're seeing here is a -1 cube, according to this. You figure that out. There's another one forming here. Right there is a satellite, looks like comms. If you look up here, it's the GOES 13. So right here is a GOES satellite. That little triangle, it spins around here. That, and then if you look, there'll be on another one I'm going to show you. You'll see the Discover satellite like out here. It'll show you where it's at. But point is, these lines are the magnetic field lines. So normally the energy from the sun comes, and you'll see this whip kind of swing back and forth. That's normal. Okay, you see the lines. The energy flows to these lines. Okay, goes behind the Earth and goes on into space. All right, but lately we've been seeing something. One is causing these spots. I'll just call them spots for simplicity. And I have another chart I'll show you that shows the actual direction of the wind flow. It's not real wind, it's solar wind. But if it was wind, it shows you the direction the wind's blowing. And then once it gets behind Earth, some of it turns around and comes back towards the sun. Pretty interesting. So let's play this real quick. I'll shut my big mouth for a minute. Okay. Let's see this as non-scientists, just average jamokes. You got 30 to -30 on your scale here, 80, -80 to 20. Now, this is important because the front curve usually is closer to this 20. So when the Earth magnetic field starts to get crushed, this will shrink down to about 0. Now watch. Here's our magic ball, whatever the hell this thing is. Let me move the cursor. Now, those lines, that's your magnetic... Whoa! What time was that? Hang on. Whoa, Nilly. We got some excitement. All right. Let's let it finish, and I'll go back to that. We're about halfway through at 2000 hours. Okay, let's keep going. Boy, something just slapped the piss out of it. Around 2100. What time was this? 21. So that puts us right around here somewhere. Is that showing yesterday? That's showing July 10th. So that was yesterday at 2100. So, right? Yeah. July 10th. So, let's keep going. This is why these numbers are important. You got to know where you're at. And they trick you up. Watch this. Play it again. It's loading, so you got to wait a second. All right. Now, whoa. Look at here. Look at this ball forming here, too. Look at the energy bouncing off the front of the Earth. Look at how red this was all the way behind us. There's a ton of energy coming at us, and the sun right now is quiet. And here comes our ball. What time is that? We're at 1700 on the 10th. 1800 on the 10th. $19, $20. Look at this. All right, and just started over. We're back to the 10th. How did we end up on the 10th? I had this set for the 11th. See, this is goofy. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to go back here. I want... See, now I had this set up the current time. It was set up for July 11th. It was 6 p.m. Chicago time. Now we're on July 10th as the start time. Here's the 11th. What happened? I didn't touch this. I want 150 frames before the current time. Let's see if this goes back far enough. Because what I'm trying to do is get you this time. I want 1,200 hours. I want to see what happened to Earth right after this happened. This is how we're going to coordinate these two. It's a little boring, but it'll match up. Watch this. If we could even get to it now. This is unreal. Let's see if it'll do it. You just saw me type that time in. I wanted the current time back 150 frames. Let's see what happens. And you look down here, it's loading 80, 90%. It's trying to load all those frames. If this doesn't give us the current time, this was the last one I could do where I could change the time. All right, where are we at here? Okay. So now I can go back to July 11th at 5 in the morning. I want July 11th right there. There's 6 in the morning, 0600. All right, let's watch this. This is right around the time that this happened here. I'm going to be quiet. Are you seeing 3 big holes behind the Earth now? Huh? I tried to be quiet. Look at these lines off the edge. That's magnetic field lines that are broken. After they break, there's no connection. This is like it's shorting out. Look at this. The Earth, now they connected. See how they're supposed to connect? What was that? Oh, my. And what is this? 1, 2, 3. A fourth one forming. One in front of the Earth forming. Like a zit. Okay, it just started over. So, you don't have to be Einstein to see there's a problem here. 0600, July 10th into the 11th. 0600 right here. So we're right here now. Going this way into those spikes. Up and down, up and down, up and down, right? Let's go back to 0600 on July 10th. Right about there. Let's try this. Let's go back to the first spike. Now, you just saw the current spikes. That was the last 6 hours up there. And something's wrong. Okay, where are we at? July 9th, 2100. 2200. Look at that big blob in the back. 2300. Midnight. Oh, I want to see that. I'm going to go back. Hang on. Right there, something happened. So we're on July 10th at 12:30. July 10th. Here's the 10th. Here's 12:30. See this, folks? This is important because it lines up. This right here, it takes, I think, a half hour for this energy to get to Earth. Okay? So in this time frame right here, that huge spike from nothing is what we're looking at happening here in real time at the time. So you're at 12:30 here. Let's go back a notch. 12:24, 12:20. This is how quick this happens. Now, see the field lines, even the ones going north-south, they're all connected. See the blue line? It connects. It makes like a big round circle. That's how the energy goes off. As you saw later in the day, as of today, those lines, north-south, are all broken. Something swiped through and broke our magnetic shield. Let's keep going forward. That's a lot of energy. Look at this thing. 12:30. So something happened at 12:30. What happened at 12:30? Oh, we could look right here. This is 12:30 right here on the 10th. So do you see what I'm talking about? We can look at other instruments and piece shit together. We had a double peak here out in space coming from the direction of the sun. And we could look at the Earth at that same time coming from the right side, the direction of the sun. Kaboom! Something slapped us. Like slapping your stepkid. Just smacked it. Bam! Don't touch that candy. Bam! And you knocked him into freaking outer space right there. That is not normal, this look. And you shouldn't hit your stepkid either. But besides that. Okay, here we go. Wow. There's the break. Look at the north-south lines broken. What time we got? We're at 2:40 on the 10th. 0240. Let's make this bigger. 0240. On the 10th. So 10th, 12, somewhere in here. So it's in this spiking here. Okay. So go back to here. The other thing is, folks, I don't know what these big look like planets. Maybe it's bigger than Earth. Look how big that is. Earth's right here. This little thing I'm circling right here. Okay? So whatever this energy is behind Earth, these balls that are forming, there's 4 of them at one point later in the day, as of today. 2 last night. And you're looking at some crazy magnetic field lines. If you had a compass, you would be seeing your compass spinning around here. And look, whoa, look. Oh, God. The energy is making the bow bend. And we still have no north-south lines. So now let's go back to live time. I'm going to go to the 12th, go back 150 just to get everything up through right now. I'm just documenting this because more than likely this data is going to disappear because the other charts are already turned off. This is the only one I could find that I could change the numbers, the dates. Now we're on July 11th, 1600. Let's coordinate this with the other chart. July 11th. I'm going to make that a little bigger so we can see the times. We're right here. Right towards the end of this chart. July 11th, 1600 is going to be probably where it's dropping right here. Oh, there it is. 1600 is right here. Right where I'm wiggling. Okay, good. Let's see what happens. Here comes a ball forming again. Big ball in front of the Earth. This thing's splitting into 2. We've lost the north-south field lines again. Something smacked it right about there, around 2100, which is off this chart. Let's go to current. Yeah, it's not playing. It's stopping at 22:30. July 11th, 22:30. July 11th. We're coming up to current time now. Whoa, look how deep this red's getting. It's going all the way out to that 20 number. Remember this? This you can picture as like a football field. These are the markers, the yards. Sometimes this could be 30. Okay. Watch this dipping closer to the sun. Watch this. Oh! Another wave. Watch this coming from the sun. You got to watch this stuff quick. See, come on. Right there. Right there. That is a huge amount of energy coming from the direction of the sun. We don't know if it was the sun until you pull up the sun. I want to see July 11th at 2200 hours. And this stops. That's right now. July 11th, 22. That's right here. And it looks like, yeah, that was almost a half hour ago. So it looks like this now is stopped. So I'm going to freeze this here. We're almost at live time. If you felt the blast energy in the last half hour, that was this red, orange, whatever this is. These are definitely high energy protons, more than likely, coming from the direction of the sun. Not meaning it's coming from the sun, but something out in that direction. And we've got now 1, 2, 3 blobs behind the Earth. We have no north-south lines. So my guess right now, if you're on the road, your GPS is probably acting up. If you had a compass right now, your line should be acting up. This is chaos. Okay? This is almost like just a half hour ago. What you're seeing here. Okay? So I'm going to show you something else. This is the one that shows you the wind direction, okay? Let's go to current time. And we are at July 12th at 0009 hours. Okay. Now on this angle, you could see the blob right behind Earth. And let's hope that's not what they call a stellar core or whatever that new theory is. I hope that's not real. As of right now, we just know it's energy. Okay. Oh. Let's see something here. Now, another trick to make it look half normal. Here's July 11th, 23:52 hours. July 11th. Let's see if we can get to 2300 here. 2330. That's as far as I can get on that one. 2330. This is not allowing me to manually move it. That's kind of weird. There we go. Come on. Oh, that's why. I can't move it a short distance. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. It's all perspective. Look at this. Look how far I'm moving this dial. All the way there. Boom. 2356. 23. That's a 4-minute mark. That's only 4 minutes. The next one is 56. So these are 4-minute increments. Yeah, They're jumping 4 minutes. Okay. So this whole thing is only like half hour. 23:36. Here's 24 minutes. Yeah, it's about a half hour. So you're looking only at 30 minutes. Wouldn't you think this was all day? That's 30-something minutes of data. Why? And here, you could see the orange here. Does that match up with the orange on this time? When did that happen? Right around... It's around the same time. $22.40, $2,300. Okay, so let's see if this will let us go further back, which I don't think it's going to. Oh, I want the 5th. Let's do the 12th. I always go the day before, and we will do 150. Let's see how far back. Did they cut this one off? Because what you want to do is we want to match this one to this one, where that little blast happened here. Right there. Right there. Where was it? And you know what? It looks like, almost like it was reaching out to match or touch. When you get like when you rub your feet on the ground, electrostatic. Right there. Right there. So, July 11th, just a hair under 2,200 hours. Let's go July 11th, hair under 2,200 hours. July 11th, and hair under 2,200. Right there. That should be the same time. 21:56, 21:57. So here's this. Okay. There's your same time. As close as I can get it. July 11th, 21:56. 20:57. We're about 13 seconds off. So, this is how you do your homework. What happened? This has just happened. What just happened? All this energy just smacked us again. And it looks like it's on a cycle. That's my point. If you look up here, you see it's been quiet, and kaboom, and then quiet for a few hours, and then ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Like you're going over a bunch of speed bumps. What is slamming? So much so that, let's see if we can get some data here. This data is not updating. Coming from the Discover satellite. So, okay. This one, let's see if we can get the same time frame. It's not, look at this. Come on. 12. again, it's only a half hour. And look at all this behind Earth here. They're cutting off this chart. Let's see if I can go back 150 frames from... I always pick the next day because it'll give you the closest to your current time. And then I go back 150 frames. That's my general. So I could see the flow. I want to see patterns. You're looking for patterns up and down, just like your heart rate on your monitor. And let's see what happens here. Again, look at your scale. Red here is higher than the blue. I've seen them recently where blue is the highest and red is the lowest. So let's see what happens. Here we go. July 11th at 1600. Again, the sun is to your right. Here you can see the satellite. That's this one. Looks like a little spider. That's the GOES 14. The GOES 13 satellites in front of that. And then out between to your right here would be Discover satellite out between the sun and this edge here. Now, I've said, now you just saw right there. Did you see the expansion? Look at it. All the way out past 15. There's a double. Look at this. A double bow. Two bows. And then look down at the bottom. You'll see the magnetic field caving in there. Coming in towards Earth. This is really unique. Let's go back. Let's see what happened at that exact time. There's probably, I'm guessing, so much energy is slapping it that it formed a second layer of protection, is what it looks like. But look how wiggly and nasty looking this inner circle looks. And when this stuff is happening, this bow should be a nice curve. Look at it all zigzagging. There's particles of energy that have to be getting through. When you saw on this one here, there's no north-south current connecting. Okay, all the way across. Your body's made up of electricity. The earth, electricity. Space, electricity. You know, magnetism, all that stuff. You don't think this is affecting us too? And you see these crazy people out there knocking hats off of people and just acting all crazy. I mean, maybe this is affecting you. Not maybe, it is. Because you're electric, you're made of water. Water's affected by this. Magnetic pulses can be used as weapons, for God's sake. I mean, so they've learned how to harness that power. It's invisible, but it affects you. So getting back into frequencies, when you go back to here, all that stuff's going on and not one little blip in the Schumann resonance? I think that one's turned off. Okay, so this may seem boring, but it shouldn't be boring. You don't have to learn all this shit, but just see something's going on. And then, I don't know the math end of it as far as when they're making these blue and purples, actual zeros. I've seen it zero, not even a 1 in there. It was all zeros. So if this blue has a math value of 0, then how high is this really, this 0.004? Is it really way higher? And they're making the scale real small. See what I'm saying? So if your blue is 0 or 0.00001, look at the difference between 0.00001 to 0.004. Now 0.004 looks like a small number, but not when you start calculating the percentage difference from that low number. So I think they're shrinking the scale. I'm not a mathematician. If somebody could figure this out and tell me what is the difference in this percentage, this to this, I bet you this is way more energy than they're letting you think it is. That's my point. And I admit I'm not smart enough to figure that out. So I could learn it, but I don't need to. I could just look and see there's a problem. I don't have to know that number. But this, because they are changing scales, this is the only reason I'm asking this even, okay? This one goes from 1.25 to negative 1.08. Same thing here. This one's negative 0.5 to 1.2. So the high end's the same, okay? Something is happening right before your eyes. And let's take a look at one other thing. Where is it? Earth-Sun connectivity. There is a magnetic line, almost like an umbilical cord. Nobody realizes this or knows about it or pays attention. Every planet has a connection to the sun, including Earth. And it'll show you on here where it is. Pull it up. And I pulled up the big one. Shows you each planet. So I think that's Mars, blah, blah, blah. Earth's the blue one. Here's Earth. So Earth's connection to the sun is a line drawn from here straight to Earth. And then you got other planets that they're showing here, I believe. Oh, no, this is active region. I pulled up the other scale. There's a magnetic line that attaches each planet to the sun, okay? So that's why I wanted to bring up... Hang on, what am I doing here? The fact of how important this electrical impulses, high energy proton, whatever you want to... Whichever tool you want to use to measure this, there's something wrong. Look at this. Something, energy right here. This left screen and the right screen is showing this just happened. You're seeing this live. Just happened a half hour ago. What is that huge amount of energy that just slapped that already strained Earth's magnetic field? So when we start seeing other instruments like people's own UV monitors that Mr. MBB records on a weekly basis, showing a UV reading of 12, 13 in Arizona, that is dangerous, dude. Dangerous. That, if you look up UV on Earth, it'll tell you in the beginning. 8 is like the highest it goes, unless you're by the equator. If you're by the equator, you get hit 9s, 10s, maybe an 11. That's it. Now you're getting... Last year here, I was getting 9s on my own meter. Now you could see it on the Weather Channel. They're showing Illinois at 9. Texas, 11, 12. Arizona is now 12 plus. So every year it's getting higher. That's UVA and B. Now... look up UVC. The letter C is in Charles. UVC is what they put in those light bulbs that or machines that they use in hospitals or anything they have to disinfect, heavy duty germs. They can turn that light on and the UVC kills everything. It destroys the DNA, the cells, everything it comes in contact with. So if it's a hospital room that was contaminated, they put this little box in there, looks like an air cleaner, and within like 20 minutes, every surface in that room is clean. Nothing could live. That's UVC. C is a disinfectant. They use it in swimming pools. When you get a UV filter or UV light for your pool or hot tub, it kills germs, okay? You could even use it in water treatment for water filtration, etc., okay? If you look it up, the definition, let's do it. UV UVC on Earth. Earth's surface. Why tell you? I might as well show you. I might as well turn my pretty face back on. Hang on. All right. For those of you who missed my ugly face, there it is. All right. That's just for my own entertainment value. Okay. UVC. Just doing a Google search. The dangerous portion of the ultraviolet radiation is widely believed to be completely absorbed. Now this, recently, I wish I taped it. Maybe I did. It used to say, not widely believed. It used to say, does not touch the surface of the Earth. Never gets here. Now it's saying widely believed to be completely absorbed by the atmosphere before reaching Earth's surface. Buzzer. Our objective is to make multiple measurements at Earth's surface of the solar irradiance spectrum in the range of 200 to 400 nanometers. Okay, so these guys try to debunk it. I think I read this before because they're full of shit and they work for somebody that gets paid to debunk it. There are several people now that bought instruments that measure UVC. They make these instruments for the instruments that kill the germs. So you have to have an instrument that is reliable, because that's one of the debunking things. The instrument's bullshit. It doesn't tell you how much UVC is really there. They have to, because they have to measure. When they're using these things in hospitals, you need to know if it's safe to go back in the room. So there has to be a meter that tells you all the UVC's gone. You can go back in the room. There's meters for this. It's not hard to make a meter to do this. Some of the debunking is the instrumentation, the electronics doesn't work. Okay, whatever. So it doesn't work. However, you look at trees all over are dying. All over. We got these maple, I think they're maple or oak trees. These oak leaves started 2 summers ago. They have, and I've done videos. There's videos I put up myself of these tumors growing on the leaves. They're black, disgusting, 3-dimensional, hard tumors on oak leaves. You see it especially in the fall because the leaves dry up and all that's left is the big black piece on the leaf itself. So if you got a little section of your yard you didn't wipe up last year or sweep up, whatever you want to call it, go find some oak leaves. I think it's oak. The ones that are like the maple. It almost look like that, but it's oak. They're oak leaves. And there's big sores on them. Not sores, tumors. They're hard, rock hard, okay? The street signs are melting. The road, here, watch this. I was going to do a video on this. I still might. Here. The roads in Australia are melting. The asphalt. They're trying to say it's shoddy work. I could believe that. People are getting cheap. Companies trying to make a profit. However, I want to show you the one where the semi is just covered in this stuff. Hang on. Let's go to images. Now, we've all had this happen where a patchwork, that's probably what she's stepping in. Somebody who patched it, that piece can melt in a hot summer day. Like, yeah, that's where she's stepping. However, when semis are falling through the road, like this one, you can see the, here's an ice cream truck that melted. That's funny. Hopefully that's a toy. There it is. Right here. That semi has asphalt all the way up to his frame, basically. So for that to sink that deep, that's more than a patchwork that kind of went bad. Now, if you look up what temperature, see when they lay this shit, you see the boiler. I think they even have to put it under pressure so they don't have to cook it as hot. Here, this happened the other day too in Europe. Railroad train tracks are buckling and bending in the heat. Really? My question is, it would have to get awful freaking hot to melt steel. That's just my guess. Hotter than the sun is going to make a railroad track for the last 200-300 years that we've had railroad tracks. Doesn't usually become a summertime problem. And I don't want to hear global warming, all that scam bullshit. The Earth goes up and down in cycles, just like the cycles I've been showing you on all the other charts. Everything cycles. Everything up and down, up and down. So whether it gets hot, cold, you get global cooling, where you have an ice age, then you have a heat wave, then an ice age, millions of years, whatever it is. That's how it is. So don't give me this shit. So, hot enough to melt steel, hot enough to sink vehicles in the ground? I don't think so. Now, I don't know. Again, I'm not a PhD scientist. I'm not a chemist. What does UVC do on an ion level? What's it doing, or an atom level? We don't normally get UVC. You just read. UVC is not supposed to hit the ground at all. Now, you'll see bleached out street signs nationwide, worldwide. You'll see street signs that are melting, dripping. You see, I just showed you, railroad tracks in Europe are twisting. It can't get hot enough out to melt railroad tracks. But if UVC radiation is hitting that part of the day, even, because I'm sure it's not hitting all the time, otherwise we'd all be cooked by now. If there's a hole, let's say, let's just pretend there is a piece of the Earth's atmosphere that got torn off in 2004 or 5 when one of the waves of energy came through from the center of the universe, from that real big bright light that nobody's ever seen so bright ever before, whatever that was. Call it what it is. It happened. So it happened. There's more waves coming. They've got it all calculated. So they know this. Is UVC causing the molecules to get excited, and radiation from the UVC? It's radiation. It's getting close to, like, when you get an X-ray. You're talking about the light spectrum. Is that making the metal weak, let's say on the railroad tracks? Is it making the signs melt? Is it turning the pavement pink, like I've done a video on? When you get on the Kennedy Expressway out here, or I-90, some of these roads, depending on how good your eyes are, and a lot of people are colorblind, so you're not going to notice. Maybe you'll see a different color. But you can see there's a pinkish tint, almost like the pink skies you see at sunset in the east. So the sun sets in the northwest now, not the west, northwest. Try it yourself. Go out tonight. Look northwest. So look straight west and go halfway to north. And that's probably where the sun's going to set. That's my guess. But you try it out. Try it out. As our friends on the Mommy podcast would say. Try it out. I love that show. Anyways. Tom Segura and his wife. Anyways. So, is that radiation what's causing the metal to get weak and buckle or bend? The roads to melt? These sinkholes we're seeing all over the place. Then, if that's heating up the molecules and we're getting extra energy, we just saw for the last hour right here. Okay. So if we're getting bombarded with energy from, let's say, deep space, the sun, wherever you want to call it, who cares? Wherever it's coming from. It's coming. We know that. Is that what's weakening that stuff? Is that what's causing people to act like assholes? Is that what's causing the human residents to freak out? And you're running from 7 hertz all the way up to 40 hertz, and your body and brain are going, what the hell's going on? This is not what we grew up in. It's like you being in a hot bathtub your whole life. And in the last 2 years, your water goes from ice cold to 150 degrees and ice cold 150 degrees. What would that do to you? Okay. The energy of the water is the temperature, okay? The energy hitting your body is frequency, sound frequency. The energy from space, UV, you can see UVA, well, UVA and B affect your skin, makes you get a sunburn. You could feel it cooking your skin now when you go outside. 5-6 minutes into it, you feel like you're in a microwave. Is that the UVC now? And if it is UVC, look up the damage. They swear it's not hitting us. But independent people, citizens are measuring it. It's showing, I think, 60 is the average that I keep seeing. 40 to 60, whatever it measures, something. I'm not an expert. All I know is it says 40 to 60 every time I see the damn meter. So, if we're getting that, and UVC is hitting the ground, it's not supposed to. What if it is? What if all those meters are right? What if this is right? What if when the magnetic fields break like they're doing, we just witnessed it, I showed it to you as easy as I could. You can't deny it. And then you get idiots go, wow, this is a bunch of data, and they mixes together from several instruments to make a 3-dimensional picture, and then it's... Really? NASA gets billions of dollars a day to do this. So I have a good feeling these instruments are probably pretty freaking accurate. So don't give me this BS. This is how they debunk shit. The instrument could have had a glitch in it, but okay. Just like the little... It looked like a half moon was always on the stereo B, I think it was. Stereo head A, whatever it was. The red screen of the sun. There was always this little half moon real close to the sun. And NASA's official statement was that when they built the satellite, that a little tiny fiber got on the lens. And somehow they didn't catch it. That went into space. Well, guess what happened a week or two ago? There was a streak of light that went past the sun, whatever it was. Who knows? And as soon as that passed by, the fiber disappeared. So now there's no little fiber on the lens of a instrument in outer space. And here's the other thing you got to remember. They go, well, it's a lens flare. It's this, it's that. These instruments, and I'll show you right here. Hang on. Because this is where they're going to tell you, the instrument's getting a lens flare. Okay, really? Okay. Let's see, a lens flare, when you're measuring, they're measuring particles. Where is it? When you're measuring particles, you don't get lens flares. It's a box. It looks like an X-ray plate. You ever get an X-ray and the person taking your X-ray will they slide that film cartridge out and then they slide one underneath and then they expose it with radiation through your bones or your body and then it shows up magically on the other side. That'd be like saying you got a lens flare in your X-ray. I'm looking for... I think they have one of the cameras on here. Give me 1 second. This has been turned off for a while, too. Let's take a look. Yeah, this thing's still off. See here? So right now, we can't even see where the satellites are on this. This shows you exactly where they're at. And it will show you, like, if there's a solar flare, this thing shows you, like, where NOAA or NASA, depending which one you're looking at, where they project it heading from the sun at that point, and how many days, etc. Oh, here we go. 212, though. See here? They got this off, too. So, looks okay, right? So here, just so you know, in the old days, Earth here is yellow, right there. So there's Earth as of February 12th, 2018. Not today. This is going back because it won't let you go to today. And stereo B, that satellite I was just telling you about, stereo A. A is the square red right there. Okay. The sun's in the middle. See that blast coming off the sun? That's what this thing's supposed to tell you. So there was a sun blast on February 12th, 2018. Earth's over here. Right there. It clipped us. So you can see that red. See the deep red? So that was a good one. That was a good blast from the sun. It nailed us. It was a direct hit. Then on this chart, you look, you're seeing it straight on. Okay. Stereo B is this X or this square here. Stereo A is behind it over here. Earth's in the middle. Okay. You can kind of get an idea how this works. Here's a close-up of Earth being hit right there. All right. So, oh, here's a good example. Here's west, right here, 90 degrees. So, if you think the sun sets there, raise your hand. Here's north, which would be 0 or 360. I'm going to guess, just an educated guess, if this is straight west, you look tonight and you will see the sun in this range, right between this 25 and 26, right about here. Not quite due north, definitely not west, way northwest, up in this range here. Probably 2/3 of the way to north. Check it out. Try it out. So anyways, you could tell this isn't working because you can go in here. Try to change the date. Let's go to 2018. We'll go to July. And it won't let me. July 11th. Apply. Let's see what happens. And we're back to 212. So you can't change it. This is my point. When they turn off data, there's reasons, okay? It didn't just break. These are billions and billions of dollars are spent per day on all this shit. So don't tell me it burned out, it's not working. When it's off, there's a reason it's off. And I think I don't know what else to show you because it gets real crazy from here. If you could actually look at how much electricity is coming off the North and South Pole. Even frequency loss. If you're in the ham radio, it'll tell you the frequency losses, all this stuff right here. Let's try this one. This one's by Australia and New Zealand. 1.9 gigawatts. That's how much electricity is right here. July 11, 2335. This scale goes from 0 to 8. This is a really cool site. Watch this. We'll go live time. Watch the electricity change as shit hits the earth. Now, I could tie this in to that weird event that happened, and you will see. I haven't checked it out yet, but you can see, depending on what part of the earth got hit, this thing will light up. I've seen it go to almost 100 gigawatts. I've done videos. If you look at my videos from last summer, there's a video specifically on this instrument. These are ions in the air. Okay, up here it tells you how many gigawatts of electricity is up there. Okay, so if we look, let's see if we can get this just for the heck of it. July 11, 2100 hours. Let's go right here. Okay, July 11th. It won't let me go back. Hang on. Come on. July 11th. Let me go back 100 frames. Let's see if we can see. if there was a boost. Watch this. 3 gigawatt. 4 gigawatt. We want almost 2,200. We're at 14, 15, 16. It's going to stop. 18, 19, 20. Okay, we're close. 21. We're getting close. So here's current time. 3 gigawatt. And it stops at 2,200. Right there. It stops. This stopped right as this approached. I'm going to see if I can go to 2,300. Stops right there. 22. Anyways, right now, not much happened there. On certain days, this is really cool to watch, especially when we get a lot of atmosphere energy. So this energy, it may take a while before this gets down there anyways. And you could do the top of the world too. That's where you're looking at here. So this is the top. That's the South Pole. No, I want this one here. There we go. This is the upper half of the, and let's hit play. See what this thing shows. Now we're looking more towards Asia, I believe. Yeah. Nothing crazy yet. So it takes a while for this to absorb. All that energy we see get hit. If the magnetic fields break, etc., like we saw, more energy is going to get to the ground. That's what I was trying to say before. So if we're getting UVC hitting the ground, you're getting other energy getting through the atmosphere. That heats up the core. The core then has to expand. Expanding core means more volcanoes, means more things happen, okay? Now, add on top of that, all the planets in our little solar system are behind Earth right now. Or soon will be. There's like 1 or 2 stragglers still crossing over. Once all that's behind us, and there's nothing between us and the sun, is that going to tug all that energy from all those planets leaning on one side of the Earth? Are we going to tilt a little? Are we going to see a little pull? Are we going to see a little heat up? Is that why we're seeing this starting up already? Because there's only 1 or 2 planets left to come around the backside. So keep your eyes and ears open. Of course, none of that matters if you don't have access to these instruments, but right here tells you everything. There was a blast right here. And if you look, that's way up there on the energy line. It's almost matching the burning that's already happening in the bow. But the other weird thing is, let me play these just so people could see it. Ooh, come on. Let me turn my picture off. Hang on, so you can see this. Watch this. Now on the right side, look at the arrows. You see the wind blowing from the right to the left. And you will see some of it turn around, coming back at us from the backside. Is that what's causing the light at night lately? if you look out in the east at night, like 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning, you'll see like there's a skyline of light. But there's no city out there. Look at this. Look at this energy. There's so much. Look at this. And these circle things, I don't know what these are. These orb blobs, whatever you want to call them. And then the magnetic field's being cut. Interesting. I find it interesting. So, if you don't, no problem. That's it. I'm going to end it there. This is Wag Chicago. Just wanted to document something weird is happening. I'm out here. You guys be safe. Be healthy. And get your head out of your ass. That's a good start. Wag Chicago, I'm out.